Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to look at getting started with the Ironjawz in Warhammer Age of Sigmar, using the faction Spearhead box set as a starting point for our force. Today's video is sponsored by the Warhammer merch shop. Want to grab some merch for your favourite Warhammer army? You can use our affiliate link down below to grab your next purchase and help support the channel at the same time. And so, leading the box set is a Megaboss. This pretty hefty model is an 8 health 3+ save character with a move forward, so relatively slow for foot troops in what they come. Generally 5 and 6 is about the average, though it does whack out quite a few attacks for models of its similar size and stature in the game. 8 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 2s with Rend 1 damage 2 is a pretty solid profile. The 4s might seem hard to hit, but all out attack is a thing, and +1 to hits generally are easy to come by, so you can make that better. Now you do have a couple of abilities. The first of these is Strength from Victory, which can be used at the end of any turn. If any damage points were allocated to an enemy unit by this unit's combat attacks this turn, and that enemy unit has been destroyed, you can give this unit a wild token to a maximum of 3. Until the end of the next turn, you can add one to the attacks characteristic of this unit's weapons for each wild token it has, so pretty cool little way to get some extra damage out of him. Lead the Brutes is another ability, this time a reaction where you do use it after you've declared a fight ability in the combat phase, and this allows you to pick a friendly Brute unit that has not used a fight ability, and they can immediately pile in an attack after the Warboss has, and if they do so, that Brute unit will also gain +1 attack. Now that should be noted is Brute keywords that will apply to multiple different units. Our first unit are the Ardboyz. Now, this unit is a pretty standard Auric unit. They're sort of our generic grunts of the force. 2 health each, a 3+ save, and they've got 2 attacks in melee with their choppers or stickers, which are 4s and 3s to hit and wound with Rend 1 damage 1. But more importantly, they've got an anti-charge +1 rend ability. This is a really cool ability to have because Ironjawz generally are quite an aggressive army. They want to be up and in the enemy's face as fast as possible. So having a unit that does have a weapon that benefits from being charged with a decent save is nice. This is further pushed by the shield bash rule, which you're allowed to use in any combat phase, which means even if you are charged and combat abilities work before the fights are taking place, you can pick an enemy unit within an inch of the Ardboyz unit, roll the dice for every model in the unit, and on 6s you inflict some mortal damage. They also have access to a champion, which is a model that gets +1 attack, essentially a unit leader, and then you can also take a standard bearer as well, which can help you get a little bit of extra control on the unit. Next we have the Brutes, and as you might notice by the name, these are the generic sort of Brute unit we have. So the Brute keyword, meaning they benefit from the Warboss's ability to pull them in and fight, so that's always something worth thinking about here. Now they have 3 health each, a 3+ save, and they've got an anti-infantry weapon in their Brute weapons, though they can have one model in unit that drops the anti-infantry rule, but does go to Rend 2 damage 3 on its weapon instead, so it gets a significant power boost for dropping that. Now, you can also have the passive ability, You Messin. This is really cool because enemy models with health characteristic 1 or 2 can't contest objectives while they're in combat with this unit. This makes the Brutes really effective at knocking some units that are potentially holding your opponent's home objectives. You know, those sort of throwaway units of like 5 archers or something like that in the backfield that have 1 or 2 wounds. The Aurics charge them, doesn't matter if they kill them or not. They very likely will, but if they don't somehow, then your opponent just can't hold the objective at all. They as well have a champion, so one model in the unit can get an extra attack, though this champion can't replace any of their weapons, so you can't take the Gore Chopper on the champion. Lastly, in the box set we have Brute Ragerz. Brute Ragerz are another type of Brute unit, so they're one that can be pulled into combat and given +1 attack when they do so by our Megaboss. They've got anti-monster weapons that get +1 rend, so they're going to rend 2 damage 2 with their 3 attacks against monsters, which is pretty nice. They also have the Strike First rule if they've charged in the same turn, thanks to Unleashed Rage, and Berserkers means they can run and charge as well in the same turn, so a pretty cool combination of abilities there, run and charge combined with Strikes First, meaning this unit is always going to get to hit what it wants when it wants, really. Now, where to go next? And the first thing we're going to look at is bringing another character into our force, this time Zoggrok Anvilsmasha. This is a unique named character. That means you can only ever take one of this model in the force. It's sort of a named character within the story and the setting of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. but it does have a couple of options. First of all, it's going to be armed with its Skull Crushing Basher, which is a generic sort of orc weapon, 5 attacks with 2 damage. But you can then either have the Grunt Tongs, which do give you a benefit to one of the abilities we'll talk about later, or another weapon, which is the Ward Smashing Chopper. That has a profile with a couple of damage 3 attacks, which is pretty nice, but importantly, it has the ability of Ward Smashing Chopper, where if someone is hit by this attack, you turn their ward off for the rest of the battle. Pretty potent ability. Now, the Tongs, on the other hand, benefit you using the Power of the Great Green God ability, where you pick a visible and friendly Ironjawz infantry unit, hold within 12, you make a fortune roll of d6, adding 1 if you have those Tongs. On a 4+, you can give crit mortal to a unit's weapons. Now, passive ability Clonk here. Clonk's essentially a token for Zoggrok. You can re-roll fortune rolls for this unit while Clonk's on the battlefield. However, if you ever make an unmodified save roll of 1 for the unit, Clonk is then removed and you lose this ability here. For me, I think my personal favourite combo of having this is just going with the Ward Smashing Chopper. I like the option of that. I think for it, with a re-roll, you've got a pretty good chance of getting that off, and you're not going to be shot off too many times, so Clonk probably sticks around for a while. Lastly, we have the Weirdnob Shaman. Wizards are pretty cool in Age of Sigmar at the moment. You're getting free Manifestation Lords in your army, so why not take advantage of that? The Weirdnob Shaman has his Green Puke, which is a shoot and combat attack with 4 attacks and damage d3, though no rend. But you've also got Brutal Power, where you can actually add 1 to your power level for the unit, while it's got a friendly Ironjawz unit that has 10 or more models holding within 12 inches of it, so probably your Ardboyz. As Wizard 1 standard, this means you can cast 1 spell in your phase and dispel 1 in your opponent's phase each turn. But of course you can potentially get to that Wizard 2, which is really nice. And you've got a decent variety of spells and endless spells to use with this particular Wizard. So for our list today, we're going to tell you to play the Ironfist. This has the Smashin' and Bashin' passive ability, and for me, I think of how we've sort of picked our force, I think this is the ability that you can influence the most. There is definitely another one with the Ironjawz tribe I think is nice, with the getting some extra attacks when you make charge rolls of 8, but that is purely down to luck, where with Smashin' and Bashin' you can make sure you're going to knock something out and then get a benefit on your next Ironjawz unit to fight. And so our hero leading force here in Regiment 1 is our Megaboss. This is our general with a heroic trait and eye forward to fight. This allows us to make redeploy rolls nearby this model automatically be a 4 in case we roll a 1, 2, 3. This is really good. We don't want our units getting caught cold out in the open. We've got very limited units. While we are pretty hitty, we don't have a lot of staying power, so having the ability to make for the standard movement for your redeploys is really good. The artifact power, the Amber Whetstone here, is just going to give us +1 rend, a good enough upgrade. Now for units inside that regiment, we then have the Ardboyz, Brute Ragerz, Brutes, and Zoggrok Anvilsmasha, as he can be included in other characters' regiments. Our second regiment is pretty simple. It's just another hero by themselves, and this will of course be the Weirdnob Shaman that we've chosen to take as well. We hope this video was helpful in getting you started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and it was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any other questions at all, please comment down below, and while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and join our Discord server to check out all our future Warhammer Age of Sigmar content.